Welcome to the All Life's Hats podcast, hosted by Tanae Hoffman, where we talk about all life's hats we wear. Now, this episode is a special one because it's for Mother's Day. So, shout out all the moms. This is your day. For me, I am still wrapping my head around being a mom. I mean, you would think 5 years of it, I'm used to it, but it's still weird because I'm younger that I'm a mom. And I hear mommy about 20,000 times a day. I'd be used to it, but Mother's Day is still weird. So I intend on celebrating my mothers. And I say mothers because I consider two people my mom. Luckily, they both have the same first name, Stephanie and Stephanie, my mother-in-law and my biological mom. Now, my mom and my biological mom and I haven't had a typical mother-in-law and daughter relationship. Growing up, my household was very tumultuous. So me and my mom really connected more, honestly, as I was growing up as friends because we were both trying to deal with it than as mother and daughter. And for a while, it was really rough for us because I guess, deviated from the norm of our household. So to take a step back, I grew up as Jehovah's Witness. For anyone who doesn't know who that or what that is, see person knocking on your doors on Saturdays. Them people. Growing up, I didn't have holidays or my birthday, so whenever people ask me about ages, I sometimes pause because when you don't celebrate your first birthday till you're 19, you sometimes forget how old people are. So that was a sticking point, and a lot of the higher ups or bishops weren't female, and I never understood why in the religion it didn't seem like women were considered equal. So as I grew older, I questioned a lot about the religion, so it got to a point where I didn't want to be a part of it. Well, that kind of caused some issues with my mother. So what ended up happening is I was a freshman in college, and I was coming home from spring break, and what happened was I was given the choice, either come home and follow the rules, which is go to the hall, as they call it, and listen to my parents, or I have to leave and do something else. I chose to leave, so I basically moved in with a family friend for the week of spring break, and then when I was done school for that semester, I moved in with my husband, well, then boyfriend, but now husband's grandmother. So from the ages of 19 to about 21, me and my mom didn't have much of a relationship because all we did was constantly fight. It got so bad as to she wasn't even at my wedding because it was in a church. So we had a rough patch. And after all that, and also a couple bouts of therapy, I decided to have no communication with my mom for a year. So after she didn't come to my wedding, we didn't talk for a year. And in therapy, I kind of worked through some things, and I finally felt ready to reopen that relationship. With boundaries, of course, because me and her started off rocky. It wasn't until I had my daughter, I started to understand my mom more. Now, granted, when I had my daughter, I was very angry because I'll get into it a different episode, but I basically was angry at my mother because I couldn't imagine putting my daughter through all the stuff I went through as a child. So I spent the first few months of my daughter's life finding ways to avoid my mom and put a space between us. And after going to therapy, my therapist at the time, Sarah Mello, told me, look, your mom had a lot going on in your childhood just like you did. And now she's stepping up to be a grandmother. She's trying to be a better grandma than she was a mom for you. And that revelation actually healed a lot of wounds. And now me and my mom are closer than ever. And I know she's going to see this and it's going to be hard for her to hear. But I have finally feel like I forgive her for all of the resentment and anger I held towards her. And I understand why a lot of things happened the way they did. I'm still protective of my own daughter, but I get it a lot more now than ever. And I thank her because without her, especially the last few years, with the pandemic shutting Haley's school down, with me still being a working mom, if she has not been there for me and helped me through a lot, I don't know where we would be. And we've had some financial situations too where it's been rough, and my mom has stepped up where I didn't expect it or ask. She just did it, and I couldn't thank her enough for that. And I know her. She is one of the most emotional people in the world, so she's probably going to see this and start crying, but Mom, I love you, and I really appreciate you. Now let's turn to my other mom. My husband's mom was there for me a lot when I was going through all my issues with my own mother. She never had any girls. So when me and my husband started dating, it was awesome for her because she had more estrogen in the house, because literally there were 3 other guys in the house and it's just her. So me and her clicked because of that. She took me in when I didn't expect someone to, because I had very low self-esteem at that time in my life. I really had low trust in people. So when I started dating my husband, and they'll tell you, I was very clingy to the people that I cared about. It was kind of ridiculous. So, but she was patient with me. She helped me. She taught me a lot of things that I didn't know. She helped me grow as a person. And she put me under her wing, even though she didn't have to. Like, she had to deal with this strange 19-year-old kid just basically showing up at her doorstep that her son brought home. And whenever I tell people that I used to work for my mother-in-law, I get the strangest looks. And then, it is crazy as it sounds, me and her got along very well, and I didn't mind her as a boss. I mean, we've butt heads before a lot in the past because she's my mom. Like, you butt heads with your mom. But at the end of the day, she has always been there for me. She was super excited when I had Haley. She was super also excited that I was having a girl. She was the main person I wanted to surprise about me having a girl. Haley's middle name actually is Regina, and it's my mother-in-law's grandmother's name. And that was a surprise because she never had girls and never got a chance to name her daughter Regina. My mother-in-law is my second mom because as a teenager and as my early 20s, I was very lost and confused about what I wanted to do. So she gave me a job. She gave me a place to stay. She gave me a shoulder to cry on. She was there for me a lot. And she actually is a piece of why I mended my relationship with my mother, because she's close. The Stephanies are close because my nickname for my mom is Chocolate. And yes, and my mom still calls me that at 31 years old. My mother-in-law's nickname is Vanilla. So when my mom's talking about my mother-in-law, I hear, how's Vanilla doing? And once you see pictures of them, you understand this joke completely. But it's funny because it was weird. A lot of people didn't understand the dynamic with me and my mother-in-law and thought it was rude that I called her mom and thought my mom would be angry. But because my mom knew how supportive my mother-in-law was, she doesn't mind it at all. Like, they're good friends. A couple months ago, they took my daughter to a grandma's tea party. So it's one of those. I originally thought when I had my daughter, I'd have to fight them for who's going to see Haley, like have to figure it out. But they figure it out themselves. They never step on each other's toes as grandmothers. They never step on my toes as a mother. They're here to help. And I appreciate that so much. So I have 2 moms, not in the traditional sense, but I have the 2 moms in my life that helped me be a better mom. They taught me and helped me understand what I should and shouldn't do as a mom. They taught me how to definitely pick my battles. They've been supportive. They understand what I go through. Like, sometimes my husband is awesome, but he doesn't get it. I have 2 people I can talk to who gets it. And for all the moms out there, definitely get your mom support group, because I don't know how I would have survived the first 6 months of Haley's life where she really wasn't sleeping without those 2. And definitely it's amazing how much support you can get from other moms. I had late postpartum depression, so I didn't actually get postpartum until Haley was about 6 months old. So between my moms and the mom support groups I was part of, I don't know how I would have made it. Definitely find your tribe when it comes to that. Don't think you have to be Wonder Woman and do it all yourself. Ask for help, get help, because it's not easy. And it doesn't, as much as you think it is when they start walking and talking and being a little bit more independent, it doesn't get any easier. You still worry the same. You still stress the same. You stress about different stuff. But definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. So for this episode of Balancing Act, I want to say Happy Mother's Day and be good to yourself. Thank you for checking out the All Life's Hats podcast. Stay tuned for more.